Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a review of this box, not the box itself, what's in the box. Let's talk about it then. Oh gosh. All right. So if you couldn't tell by the title, this is a review of the ZHIYUN 100 Cob Light CX100. It's a small little professional light that we're gonna unbox right now, test out and compare it to the one I have on right now to see if it's any good, what we think about it. Everything you might wanna know if you're a beginner and need a cheap light that's also really good. Let's talk about it. Okay, so first thing, got a soft box. I think if you take this thing and you set it in there, there we go, got a little grid. And this just acts as a little bit of a negative to kind of direct the light wherever you want it to go. And then obviously what you're here for, the light itself. Okay, so this is the entire light. Look at this thing. This is the entire light. It's handheld. You literally can hold it. There's a battery grip here. It also has a 1/4-inch mount, making it easy to put on a tripod. What else do we have in here? Looks like we also have a reflector, which of course does exactly what you expect. It reflects the light. It mounts kind of like that. There we go. But for the actual test, what you want to see is how powerful is this light. Okay, so obviously we know that this has the reflector on it, and with that being said, we can go ahead and also put this on there after we remove that reflector. But I want to see how powerful this thing is when it's on. Now this is a bi-color light. I think you press it once, then you hold it again to turn it on. Oh, I mean, that's bright. And then you can make it, you know, yellow. Geez, this is getting powerful. I probably shouldn't point it here, but I mean, you see that? Now, the nice thing is you can dial it down the settings and intensity, right? Like that's the lowest intensity it goes, and then it gets a hell of a lot brighter. And it's a bit warm, I'm gonna be honest, it's a bit warm. Now it is like a foot from my face. That's not how you would have it on a set or anything else. But it's an intense, it's a powerful light. Now there's a fan in the back of this. I'm imagining when it gets hot and it's on for a long time, that fan will kick on. I have tested it a bit more than I'm letting on. I've had it for about 2 weeks now. Contrary to the unboxing you just saw, I just repackaged everything. And in those 2 weeks, I've found that the fan itself, when I run it for these videos, which I've made a bunch of videos with it so far, the fan itself is very quiet. You don't hear anything. It's kind of nice. Actually powering it on, you press the red button once, then you press it again and then hold it, and that'll like turn it on, for instance. Let's try it out with the softbox. Click it once, click it again, hold it down. I mean, that's obviously a lot lighter. And remember, it's bi-color, so we can just shift that to, you know, white light, if you would. Now you have an intensity knob and a Kelvin knob, obviously bi-color access, and then brightness levels are controlled here. Pretty small. This is my phone. So you mean, all things considered, as a light goes, pretty small light, pretty convenient form factor. I like that. I feel like I could like walk around and point it at things. If I was on the set, I could run around with it. However, I probably wouldn't do that, but I could. Now I understand this review is a little bit all over the place because again, I like to go off of what I really think and what I really use it for. So what do I actually think of this light? Now again, this is the ZHIYUN Cinepeer CX100 light, right? It's a prosumer level, meaning that it's professional, but made for the low, you know, beginner-friendly budget range that most of you, as well as myself, kind of like to stick into. It comes in at $200, and I say that because, of course, if you guys know anything about lighting, lighting's not cheap. Lighting gets a heck of a lot more expensive than $200. So what you're getting, which is 100 watts of brightness out of this. Let's talk about the pros of this light, right? First and foremost, form factor. I mean, look at this thing. It's small. It's like smaller than my head, and it does quite a bit of, you know, damage, if you would. It's 100 watts, which is nice because a lot of the lights that run in the same price range seem to be around the 60-watt range, which, you know, 40 extra watts, more power, but it does come with its cons, which we'll talk about. Outside of just form factor, it's extremely bright, again, for how small it is, which is a nice thing. It's bi-color. You have a control on the sensitivity of the light and how bright it actually is, which is good. And then on top of that, you know, it mounts to a 1/4-inch thread, meaning you can put it on a tripod, you can put it on a, you know, very cheap light stand if that's all you can afford, including that, the battery grip, which you can hold it with. Not that I would hold the light on a job, because again, it doesn't quite make sense. I know I made that joke earlier, but you don't really hold a light. Overall, it's a pretty good light for how small and, you know, the price range. Now, coming in at $200, what's the cons of this light in comparison to, let's say, something that's a lot better from a bigger company, which we will not name? The cons of this is the battery life. They claim, and I've experienced, gets around 30 minutes of life out of this battery pack. Now there is a DC plug down there, which you can like plug into the wall and use it from that. So if you have that cord, which doesn't come with it, then you're good. You can use it that way. If you want to charge it, then obviously it's a USB-C based charging system. It lasts about a half hour, which is disappointing because my videos, these videos, more often than not, take at least a half hour to record. And then, you know, you kind of turn the light on before you record. You may have to pause and restart something. So like that half hour stretches into maybe almost an hour of like time that it takes, which makes this light, you know, only half as valuable for the whole video. You have to be very cautious of that. So that is a big con to me. It's the biggest downside. Now, the other downside is that this little, you know, soft box, if you would, though it's great and it mounts perfectly, I do want to say that because it's so custom to this build, that it's not like a universal mount where it fits on my other lights or any other lights that I might run across. So that's a downside. We're going to test this light out. We're going to put it on this stand and replace this. So let's do that. I'm going to snap my finger. We're going to do one of those, okay? Or maybe we'll do this side. Ready? Now. Okay, so obviously, this light has a different type of diffusion than my other light has. It's a lot stronger, to be quite honest, which means I probably should take what I did and set it back a bit farther than it is and do something like that. So obviously, we still have some lighting on my face. We have some contrast in the background. I'm not using the reflector because I don't want a harsh light. And overall, I mean, I like it. I think it's a good light. I think it's very strong for what it is. I think for the price point and the, you know, ergonomics of it, it's very hard to beat a light like that. I haven't had one that's that small and this powerful because again, it's more powerful than the light that I use on my daily basis. But the only downside is that battery life. You can't switch it out, and if you can, I can't seem to figure out how to take that battery off. But I don't think it comes off. I think it's mounted permanently into the fixture. Okay, so that's my pros and cons, right? So let's switch it back to my other light. And that's that. So if I were to give this a 1 out of 10 rating, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, I would probably say this gets like a 7. And I say a 7 again. The price, the ergonomics, its reliability, as in like every time I want to turn it on, it will turn on if there's power. And the fan is quiet, it doesn't overheat much. The battery grip is comfortable if you had to hold it, for instance, like this. I don't even think about it. 7 out of 10, 3 points off because again, that battery life is just not for me. And if you want to check it out, you can hit the link in the description, use the code on the screen here and save yourself some money. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this light. Let me know if there's a better light out there that you'd like me to review. That being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. More tutorials for editing coming on the way, but I'm trying to do other stuff. All right, see you later. I'll see you later.
Also, you see this mark right here? That mark, I just burned it by putting this on face down on it. So be careful. It's a hot light. I mean, literally, it's burned. It started smoking. That's not good. Ah, jeez. Okay. Bye. See you later.